This week on Christian World News, as a young boy, he spent hours studying the Koran. Today, he's baptizing Muslims into faith in Jesus Christ.
Plus, church growth in a war zone. How Ukraine's Christians are taking God's love to the war-torn areas of their own country.
And meet Nepal's newest celebrity. How Superbook's Gizmo is helping children laugh again. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Christian World News. I'm George Thomas.
Yes, you are. And I'm Wendy Griffith. Good to have you with us. Well, on the same beach in Libya where ISIS beheaded 21 Christians, an evangelist recently baptized former Muslims into faith in Jesus Christ. As a young man, he studied the Quran for hours at a time, and now he's a preacher of the gospel.
Incredible story you're about to watch. How did that transformation come about? Well, his story comes to us courtesy of the ministry Leading the Way with Dr. Michael Youssef. Take a look.
As a Muslim, when I was a little boy, I used to go to the Quranic school. From age 5 until I became 20, which means I spent 14 years. After this time, I was approved and passed the test of memorizing the entire Quran. But after studying the Sharia law, not the Quran itself, Islam was completely exposed with its hidden reality. During the 3 years of my studies, little by little, I had a serious concern about Islam. After discussing these questions with friends and not getting answers that would convince me, they became hostile to me. They told me there is a verse in the Quran that urges Muslims not to seek answers to questions about some things, as it may hurt them if they know the answers. I lived in struggle for more than 4 years. I got to a point when Islam had no part of my life and religion ceased to exist. Muhammad meant nothing to me. I became an atheist. By mere accident, when I was in my home country, I was navigating TV channels to find something entertaining until I got to the Kingdom Sat TV channel, which was showing a song. I started to hear words that we never used in Islam. I wanted to communicate with them, so I picked up the phone and called the number on the screen. I communicated with a brother called Kamal. Our correspondence lasted for 2 years. He introduced me more to Christ. I learned about who Jesus is and how to be a Christian. This was for 2 years. After that, I corresponded with them again until they introduced me to a Christian brother from the Kingdom Sat who had a friend with him. After I met with that brother, I spent 3 months studying with him. We studied many subjects focusing on the Christian faith. We studied how to live with Christ, fellowship with Him, and be part of the church. I accepted Jesus' salvation, and I got baptized. And now the next step to follow will be to serve the Lord in my home country. People there need to know Jesus, the God and Lord. Certainly, there's a lot to be done there.
Soon after Shahid went back home, Leading the Way lost contact with him. After 2 months of silence, we learned that Shahid's own father, angered by his Christian conversion, had reported him to the government. Shahid had been intercepted at the border. When we regained contact, Shahid was in a refugee camp, where 2 Muslims tried to murder him. But the Lord saved him twice. Shahid shared why the Muslims wanted to kill him so badly.
I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I had to share Jesus with others.
Through the help of Leading the Way's Help the Persecuted ministry, Shahid was released from the refugee camp, and he called to thank us.
I am free. Please thank everyone who helped me. Thanks for the lawyer and all that he did. Thanks for caring.
Since then, Shahid has led many to Christ. He is baptizing Muslim converts. He is helping our team follow up with listeners in the Muslim world. He is connecting Leading the Way with other persecuted Christians to help them. And he has planted churches across North Africa and Europe after only 2 years of being a Christian. Recently, Shahid shared an update with us, a picture of him baptizing new believers on the same shores where ISIS beheaded 21 Coptic Christians.
We pray the Lord will help us in this endeavor to serve Him more and make His word known to people. May the Lord bless you all.
How encouraging. And you can share this story with your friends and family and encourage them with news of how God is at work in the world. Just visit our Christian World News Facebook page at the link you see right there on your screen.
Okay, ISIS, well, they are committing genocide against Christians and other religious groups. That's the report from the Knights of Columbus. The Catholic fraternal group issued the report detailing how Christians have been killed, kidnapped, and raped, and how religious property has been destroyed. Earlier this month, the White House said the legal determination for using the word genocide had not yet been met. Father Douglas Albazi was held captive by ISIS for 9 days, and he disagrees.
I still keep my shirt when they kidnap me, and still I look to my blood every day, and I remember. And this is what happened even to my people every day. I'm lucky. I'm still look to my blood and remember. But what about my people? They don't have any chance more.
The report from the Knights of Columbus proves the legal thresholds have been met. 2 million Christians used to live in Iraq. Now there are fewer than 300,000.
Well, coming up, eastern Ukraine is racked by war and poverty. So why is the church growing there? We'll tell you right after this.
Hello, I'm Terry Newsom. Did you know there are more than 148 million orphans in the world today? 148 million. But it was 3 little girls that taught me about the plight of orphans. 8 years ago, my husband and I spent nearly a month immersed in the daily activities of a Ukrainian orphanage as we waited to adopt 3 sisters. I saw firsthand the utter loneliness, the pain of rejection, and the overwhelming desire to be loved. That experience changed me forever. And out of it grew a ministry from my heart called Orphans Promise. Today, we're helping orphans and vulnerable children in more than 50 countries worldwide. Thousands of children are now in safe homes. They're being educated, and they're learning life skills. I'm asking you to join with me and become family to these children. Will you call the number on your screen right now? Because every child deserves a chance to be happy.
Inside every child is a hero, a leader, a friend to others, someone who helps out, who does the right thing, who dreams of what they can be, but they still need our help.
What should I do? What should I say? How should I feel?
That's where Superbook comes in. It provides moral and spiritual truths through situations children can relate to, teaching God's Word to the children you love. Join the Superbook DVD Club and receive Superbook's newest episodes as they're available, plus 2 copies to share with others, all for your gift of only $25. Get Superbook today and watch the miracles happen.
And welcome back to Christian World News. In war-torn Ukraine, evangelical missionaries are reaching out to victims caught in the middle of the fighting. Even though a year-old ceasefire is in place, Ukrainian forces and Russian-backed separatists continue their battle. The fighting isn't stopping several evangelical groups from helping residents who live in the so-called gray zone. One of those groups is CBN's Orphans Promise, which is working through churches to provide food and other needs. Recently, I spoke with Natalia Komyak of Orphans Promise about that work. Tell us specifically, what are you guys doing on the front lines? You guys are still there all these years later.
Yes, since CBN has offices in Ukraine, they are actively reaching out to the people who are needy and hurting, and Orphans Promise is specifically working, helping them to reach out to the children. There are a lot of vulnerable children there right now, children orphaned by war, children living with relatives, with extended family, still in the war zone or in the zone that's close to the war.
Your ministry is working through evangelical churches, right, to accomplish all the work that you're doing on the front lines.
Yes, we are working through the evangelical churches because what we want is people in this time of war, in this time of uncertainty, they don't need just bread and water. They do need that too, but they need peace. They need understanding. They need somebody to come to who will comfort them, who will bring safety, who will tell them about the eternal safety as well. So the churches are right there on the ground, and they're establishing ministries. In fact, we are about to roll out throughout all of the towns in the war zone or near the war zone, Superbook clubs for the children, that they could come and they can get their questions answered, and they can come to the saving knowledge of Christ.
And incidentally, folks might find this interesting that you have, I think, like 6 new churches that CBN, Ukraine's Orphans Promise, is sponsoring, is funding. Talk about these. I mean, these churches are, very close to the front lines. Why have they set up so close to the front lines?
Well, the need is great there because these people don't have anything. They don't have bread. They don't have anything in the stores. They don't have anybody reaching out. So just delivery of bread is not the only thing that is needed there is not enough. And therefore, somebody's presence, so that they can come and talk to about their fears, about their problems, some help can be given to them. So there is a church called Good News in Slaviansk that they have rolled out this missionary academy, and they have trained over 300 new missionaries. And they are sending them out to start these church plants, start to be a place where people can come with their questions, with their problems, come and get comforted. And it's unprecedented growth of church through that. And yes, CBN is involved into that, and Orphans Promise is supporting and sponsoring all of the children's activities in those churches.
Natalia, talk about the impact that you're having on the community in the midst of these very difficult times.
Well, our main goal is to really reach out to the one. Because imagine you are there and there is war and you don't know when it's going to end, and the fact is you don't have anywhere to go. Whom do you turn to? And so when there is a presence there is a church, there is somebody who is ready to feed you hot soup, to bring you bread, to comfort you, to teach your children, because the schools are being closed. And so the kids can come there and actually continue their education, to provide any type of stability.
Thank you so much for your insights and coming on the broadcast.
Thank you.
And by the way, Natalia told me those churches are facing persecution not only from Russian-backed separatists, but from the Russian Orthodox Church as well. You can see the rest of my interview with her at our website, cbnnews.com.
And turning now to Latin America and the critically poor nation of Haiti. Poverty, natural disasters, and a corrupt government have all contributed to a food security crisis there. The island nation needs jobs and sustainable food sources. And as Caitlin Burke shows us, CBN's Operation Blessing is responding to those needs through aquaculture.
Tackling hunger in Haiti is a full-time business for CBN's Operation Blessing.
When I first went to Haiti in 2009 and saw how hungry the people were, but at the same time how much water they had and how much sunshine they had, I thought, boy, what a place for aquaculture. This is a perfect scenario for someone to be in the fish farming business.
Here at the Operation Blessing Fish Hatchery, they breed tilapia to help provide protein for the Haitian diet, restock empty lakes, and improve the Haitian economy.
Tilapia, it's great for Haiti because it grows. It's one of the easiest fish to grow. It grows fast. It has a lot of meat, which is what you want.
There's a huge market for fish here because many of the lakes and reservoirs are empty.
Generations of hungry people. They scour the ponds and the lakes and the rivers and even harvest tiny fish just for subsistence for their families.
Operation Blessing produces more than 1 million baby fish or fingerlings a month. They're then sold to fish farms across Haiti or put into its lakes and reservoirs. The Taino Aqua Farm, OB's largest customer, buys up to 70,000 fingerlings a month to grow and sell to the Haitian people.
First year, we're looking at producing about 500 tons, which is about 1 million pounds. We'll be the largest aquaculture operation in the country, and we hope to grow from there.
Part of building a fish farm means finding a place to grow the fish. TAF puts the fingerlings in this lake using massive cages. There are 6 cages like this one out on the lake, but that number is expected to double. Each cage can hold 200,000 fish.
Our fish are actually growing ahead of schedule. They're about 35% ahead of what we anticipated, which is all great news. They're more efficient than we thought they were going to be in terms of converting food to mass, and they seem to be swimming and very happy.
While selling fingerlings is a major part of the fish hatchery's work, Operation Blessing also donates full-grown fish for meals at schools, orphanages, and hospitals.
The human body requires protein. In Haiti, it's a steady diet for the poor of beans and rice, and they don't always have enough beans and rice.
The fish hatchery helps provide a sustainable food source and also much-needed jobs. That's the real solution to poverty and the ultimate goal of Operation Blessing in Haiti.
Everyone's heard the old saying about teaching a man to fish. Well, I believe in that principle, but we want to teach a country how to fish.
Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Port-au-Prince, Haiti.
Hold on to that fish, Caitlin. Well, coming up, Gizmo is on top of the world, literally. See how Superbook is taking Nepal by storm.
Heaven, eye hasn't seen, neither has ear heard what God has prepared for them that love Him. There'll be no more tears. There'll be no more sorrow. There'll be no more suffering. That's why we want to be part of it.
Heaven, what God has prepared for those who love Him. Get this newest DVD teaching from Pat Robertson. Available now.
Hello, I'm Terry Newsom. Did you know there are more than 148 million orphans in the world today? 148 million. But it was 3 little girls that taught me about the plight of orphans. 8 years ago, my husband and I spent nearly a month immersed in the daily activities of a Ukrainian orphanage as we waited to adopt 3 sisters. I saw firsthand the utter loneliness, the pain of rejection, and the overwhelming desire to be loved. That experience changed me forever. And out of it grew a ministry from my heart called Orphans Promise. Today, we're helping orphans and vulnerable children in more than 50 countries worldwide. Thousands of children are now in safe homes. They're being educated, and they're learning life skills. I'm asking you to join with me and become family to these children. Will you call the number on your screen right now? Because every child deserves a chance to be happy.
Kids. We want them to grow up knowing God's Word. But in today's busy world, sometimes we could use some help. The free Superbook Kids Bible app has fun stuff your kids will love. They'll have a blast learning the Bible, playing great games, watching cool videos,
Follow me.
discovering heroes in the Bible. They'll have fun while they learn God's Word. The Superbook Kids Bible app, available on iTunes and the Google Play Store.
And welcome back to Christian World News. There's a new celebrity in the Hindu nation of Nepal. The country was devastated last year by a tragic earthquake. You remember that?
Yes, and who is this? This very famous
Gizmo.
person? Gizmo. Now, Superbook's Gizmo, as I was trying to say, is helping kids laugh again while they learn some valuable lessons. My colleague Lucille Talusan has that story.
Superbook's mascot Gizmo has only been in Nepal for 3 weeks, but he has already reached more than 30,000 children. CBN believes that introducing one of the main characters of the Bible animation series Superbook to churches and schools will increase viewership of the program. The Nepali version of Superbook began airing on national television 2 weeks before the big earthquake struck in Nepal last year. But with Gizmo and the Superbook team going to the schools, mostly Hindu in remote villages, its audience is growing bigger.
Gizmo is fast gaining new fans here in Nepal. The children love him and they can learn moral values from its Bible stories.
Up on stage, Gizmo talked in Nepali language to the children. He challenged them to courageously fight their bad habits, just like David was brave enough to fight Goliath. Gizmo's bubbly and funny character delighted the students and school administrators as well.
Thank you for bringing Gizmo to our school and introducing Superbook. This will be a big help for our students.
Schools in Nepal are mostly Hindu, and this poses a challenge to show Superbook to the students because it is Christian in nature.
One principal said, this is against our culture and traditions. So our Nepali team leader challenged him, just watch one episode of Superbook and tell me what you think. So he watched it, and he saw that these Superbook stories teach the same good morals and the same good character traits that they teach in their schools. And then they were very glad to promote Superbook.
These children who met Gizmo in person on a Saturday couldn't wait to get home to watch Superbook, which aired later on that same day. And because only a few homes had television in this remote village in Kanchanpur, this bunch of kids gathered in one hut to watch Superbook for the first time.
I am very happy to meet Gizmo and watch him in Superbook. I learned from the story today that we should be obedient and respectful to our parents. I really like Superbook very much and we will watch it again.
Gizmo's tour has just begun. The Superbook team is going to visit many churches and schools across Nepal, especially now that the Association of Private Boarding Schools has approved the Superbook tours in schools.
One of our goals is to see children transformed and develop good character. Then when this generation grows up, they can have a positive effect upon the nation.
Lucille Talusan, CBN News, Dangadi, Nepal.
Good to see Lucille back in action in Nepal. We've missed you, Lucille. Well, did you know that Superbook has a Bible app for kids? Just go to our cbn.com website and click on the Superbook tab. You can download the app and start teaching your kids the Bible today. We'll be right back.
Join the 700 Club and get your copy of Heaven, the newest teaching by Pat Robertson.
You're going to see some amazing stories of people who have died and gone to heaven.
I was free.
I wasn't afraid.
I could feel peace from head to my toe.
I'll also be talking with a renowned cardiac surgeon. How many of your patients died and came back to life again?
Dozens have in fact died and have experienced heaven.
Call 1-800-759-0700 to get your copy of Heaven, what God has prepared for those who love Him.
And then I'll be sharing the Bible answers to some of the most important questions people have about eternity.
Pat, are we eternal beings? Do we live when this life is over?
That's what the Bible says. There's no question that we are not extinguished at death, but our spirits will live on forever.
Get your copy of Pat Robertson's newest teaching, Heaven, available now.
When you give, smiles grow bigger. When you care, homes are happier. When you comfort, the hurt goes away. When we all come together to love, miracles happen.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
And finally on the broadcast today, it really is impossible to dig a hole in Israel without making some historic find.
It certainly seems that way. Well, the recent discovery of 2 ancient seals in Jerusalem tells us a lot about the historic city and the people who lived there. Chris Mitchell explains.
Archaeologists found the seals inside a 2,500-year-old building.
Inside this building, as a result of very gentle work that include also sifting of the finds, sifting of the airs in order to find all these tiny artifacts, we discovered, among other stuff, 2 Hebrew seals. One with the name of a man, Sariyahu ben Shvaniyahu, and another one with the name of the woman, Eliana bat Goel.
The discovery took place here in an area known as the City of David. This 9-year-old excavation has served as a timepiece, documenting the history of ancient Jerusalem.
We are standing in the heart of ancient Jerusalem, so-called City of David, the term that the Bible used for this place. The city started here and developed on a very small square here in these places for thousands of years. We have 10 historical periods here, starting from the 9th century BC. It's just some 100 years later than the kingdom of David and Solomon. And we have many more young, I would say, less ancient finds, including Hasmonean, Hellenistic period, Roman, Byzantine, and early Islamic. And each period excavated here revealed the most interesting and most exciting finds.
Jahadovich says it's extremely rare to find the name of a woman on a seal.
It's very exciting to know that in ancient times were strong women in Jerusalem living here, and even we have no idea about who was this lady and why she deserved such a special rights in the society. The women's status in the ancient Near East usually wasn't that high. That's why it's so interesting to find a seal signed by a woman name. I think it's very inspiring because we know that in this society that we know as a man world, and in ancient Near East, such a long time ago, even then there were women who were capable to run their own independent life.
Some feel Eliana might have been like the woman described in the book of Proverbs, where it says, she seeks wool and flax and works with willing hands. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. Jahadovich says uncovering a name brings the past and its people to life.
When you have a name of the person, it's turning from something very abstract to something very individual. So we know that they were here by names. I think it's amazing. And that it's a woman, I think it's really very inspiring.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, the City of David, Jerusalem.
Okay, that wraps up this week's edition of Christian World News. Thank you so much
Sure
for joining
does.
us.
They went by fast. Well, until next week, from all of us here, goodbye and God bless you.